Alright, welcome back to the channel. So today I figured it would be kind of fun to look at what is essentially baby's first modern deck for me, and that is Mono Black Vampires. This deck, I played it for, a little while before I finally, started investing in the modern per se. So it's got a lot of commons, uncommons, there's a couple rares here and there, but it's really uh, budget friendly per se. This deck definitely is not good now. I'm not even sure if it was good back when I played it, so I'll let you be the judge of that. I think Bowmasters would definitely destroy this deck. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. I have two Vampire Cutthroats. 1 mana, 1/1. It has evasion and lifelink, so it's alright. I just needed this as another 1-drop for the deck to get off to a fast start because I only play 10 1-mana creatures. So I have a playset of Vampire Lacerator, I don't know, whatever. Whenever, I don't know, at the beginning of upkeep, you lose a life and your opponent has 10 or less, then you don't lose that life. So definitely saving there for sure. Got a playset of Vampire of the Dire Moon. I would consider this probably to be one of my favorite cards of the deck, mainly because it's got Death Touch and Lifelink, so it could be an attacker or a blocker on any given situation, really. Unless they have indestructible creatures, then you're kind of screwed. So that's for the 1 mana creatures there. So let's go on to the 1 mana spells, which there's only 4. And it's basically discount Thoughtseize. At the time, Thoughtseize was like ridiculous. I think it was like $12, $13. Now it's like $8, I think. So Duress is definitely much worse, but at the time I didn't really feel like investing in the Thoughtseize, so not until later at least. Gatekeeper of Malakir. This card's interesting. It's you can kill your opponent's creature obviously with it, but there's some matchups where it's just completely useless. It's just a 2 mana 2/2 if you're going against like control or something. So I do like the card a lot. I think it's unique, but it's kind of depends on the match, I guess. So let's move on to I think the second best card in the deck, third best card, fourth best card. Let's go fourth best card. Okay, so it's Gifted Aetherborn, obviously one of the OGs. This is the second best card in the deck. Cordial Vampire. This card was like $5 a piece for some reason. I think it's just mainly there's that Commander Vampire deck that was going around, Markov, I think, and that was why it was so expensive. But anyway, that deck is very good if you ever want to play Commander and Vampires. So anyway, this card was interesting because your opponent had to play around it, really, because if you kill it, then all your other creatures get +1/+1 counters, right? So they can't really kill it per se, but they could exile it, and then you basically just concede at that point. But yeah, it's good, and your opponent has to play around it a little bit. But nowadays, there's so much different kinds of removal that it's probably not as good as it used to be. The last 2-drop creature here is Bloodghast. This card definitely dropped in price recently for sure. But anyway, I'm only playing 2. I was playing 4 at one point, but then I had a change of heart. I just don't think it's like that good, personally. But I think like late game, it's a lot better because then you're really putting the pressure on. But early game, I think it's kind of terrible. So that's why there's only 2. Infernal Grasp. There's a lot of different kinds of removal you can play in black, obviously. I played this because I didn't really mind losing the 2 life, right? Because you're gaining life from the lifelink, so it really didn't matter too much. Another card, that I just like this card a lot. I play this in basically any monocolor black deck, other than A-Rack, because obviously you don't want cards in your hand really for Ensnaring Bridge. But just a great card. One thing I always forgot about when I was playing this was that it's target player. So there was times where I just could have straight up killed my opponent, and then I, you know, kind of botched it. So anyway, good card. You don't mind paying the life because you're gaining life with the deck. 2 Vampire Scavenger, not Nighthawk, which this is like the evolved version of that card. I remember when Modern Horizons 2 came out and someone was playing Murktide, and obviously they need Delirium, or is it Delirium? Yeah, Delirium, right? So you drop this, and there was a time when it was a 7-3. I played this, it was a 7-3, and so that's pretty good. I mean, at least I thought at the time, even though, you know, you could kill it with Lightning Bolt still, but still a pretty good card. I don't know if it's good anymore, but, you know, for me, I thought it was pretty cool. All right, this is the win con of the deck, essentially. This is the card that I basically built the whole deck around. So if you have not heard of this card is pretty interesting. So you flip the top card of your deck, and if it's black, then all your vampire creatures get +2/+1. So my idea was just kind of like play, like turn 1, obviously you want a creature of some sort. I don't know, that, I guess. And then turn 2, you wanted to play a 2-drop creature. Turn 3, you wanted to play another creature or another couple creatures. For this example, I don't know, we'll play Bloodghast, I guess. I don't know. The idea was to kind of curve out, and I'll add another creature here. I'll add that. Hopefully you have about, you know, 3 to 4 vampires on turn 4. It should be pretty easy because, you know, we got 1-2 mana stuff here, so it's not, you know, it's not like impossible, but like any combo deck that you play is never going to be 100% like accurate, right? So unless you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And every deck's 100% accurate all the time because they have so many tutors. But anyway, I'll have to talk about that some other point. But this was the idea. So you get all your creatures out, you play this, you flip it. Hopefully it's not a land, right? So this is 3. These all have flying too, so that's another way to evade. So 3, 4, so that's 7, 11 plus 4 is 15, and that's going to be 15 damage on turn 4. Hopefully that's enough to kill your opponent. You have to realize too that people like playing these things called fetch lands and shock lands. So, and especially in a deck like this, like you're putting pressure on them, or, you know, ideally putting pressure on them early. They have to answer it. So if they fetch their shocks, it has to come in untapped, right? So they can get their answer for whatever you're playing. So hopefully, you know, in a like ideal world, that's how that would play out. And sometimes it did. Sometimes I would get it on turn 5, and you know what, I kill them, and then we go to game 2, and then I would get completely destroyed. But yeah, so here's my sideboard. It's not very good, but you know, what are you gonna do? Dread Rebels, I played this for like, someone's playing like a control deck where they just kept board wiping, so I put this in to get some creatures back. Go blank for decks that relied on the graveyard, and also it's a discard thing, so I thought that was kind of cool. Extracted Truth is probably one of my favorite cards for black. I don't know. It's definitely very good. Makes your opponent sack an enchantment, and also you can discard them if you want. This is something that I played off and on in the main board actually, and I just put it in the sideboard because, I don't know, I didn't know what I was doing. So if I didn't have Vampire like Nocturnus in my hand, I could at least have a way to go get it. So that was the idea there. Eaten Alive is low-key one of my favorite cards because you exile the creature or planeswalker. You don't kill it, you exile it. So I thought that was pretty good. I do think like exiling is pretty good effect in general. Victim of Night, because nobody's playing any of these decks like vampires, werewolves, or zombies in modern. I don't think trial decks will ever be a thing as long as Masters is in the format. But anyway, other than Murktide and maybe Elves, but you know, take it what you will there. So anyway, Feed the Swarm, again, another really good removal option. And that's I think that's the whole deck.